I easily got over 100,000 CVC points, and this account is only 7 days old. 1 week old! Is just the baby. Even though we weren't able to win, I'm still pretty proud of where we were at, and it's not too big of a deal because now we've got to start thinking about saving up for the very next CVC, which that one will have personal rewards. That's the big boy. That's the one we're going after. Let's talk about what I did in order to earn those first 100,000 for this very first CVC on this account, and then let's talk about what we need to be saving now and think about now before the next CVC PR event happens in a couple of weeks. I'll even go over 11 plus different resources that you should be saving so that when CVC does come around, you're ready to go. Okay, firstly, I did use some gems and I used them for energy. I used about 520-ish gems, and that equated to about 1,400 different energy. I did decide to use those gems as energy because I didn't have a whole lot of them saved up, or at least not these energy refills like I usually do, or at least I do on my main account. This account's brand new. She don't got no refills in there. Those were gone just for the progression alone when we first started the account. But I was able to find some energy here and there. So obviously you've got your dailies where you can go and get the energy refills from doing your daily and your advanced quests, plus these little playtime rewards. But I also went in and I was able to go to the limited series, and if you go into each of these and you go and share the trailer for each one, you'll get energy for every single one of these, plus some other great little rewards as well. So I went through and I grabbed each of these and used that energy during the CVC to help me get as many points as I could. Hold up, click link in the description right now to get Uugo for free, as well as 2 more amazing epics as you level up. Here are the exact steps you need to follow. Log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Click link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Here you go, you'll find Uugo here, as well as Tagoar and Rector Drath as you progress through the game. Then, use promo code SUPREME6 to get yourself an insane Void Legendary, Supreme Galek. This is an amazing account start in Raid, so go ahead and click my link right now and follow the steps. I used a lot of that energy in areas like the dungeons and campaigns so that not only can I continue to progress my account by leveling up my champions, because we only have 1 6-star right now, but we also used it in dungeons, and then of course I did some minnows so that I can get some masters for my champions. Don't worry, I'm going to get to this primal. Don't you worry, primal, you're going to be my portal soon. I don't think we had a whole lot of shards to pull from because I did pull them during the champion chase the week before. So I think I only pulled a few of these. So not a lot of points went into the CVC as far as shard pulling went. And now I think I'm going to be saving shards again until the next CVC, unless a big summoning event comes up or something that I think I can participate in. But to be honest, with how little shards we have, I don't know that if there was a summoning event or some kind of event that required us pulling shards, that we'd really be able to get very far in it. So I think for the most part, we're probably just going to save these until the next CVC. Books. I used every single book that I had at the time. I did get a couple more this morning from some events and rewards and things, but I did use all of the books that I had to book out as much as I could and as many champions as I could to get as far as I could. The points that rack up from the books are actually pretty significant, especially when you're working with like Legos and things like that. Another area for the CVC that I was a little bit struggling with because it's a brand new account is Arena and the Great Hall. So I was able to get a little bit set up here with the Great Hall, but you know, it's not as great as it could be, and I'm saying that sincerely because you can probably see I've got 37 losses right here, which it's not like terribly bad, but I'm gonna tell you right now I probably should have won quite a few of those that I didn't. And the reason why is because I was struggling with Arena pretty badly. I would upgrade my champion's artifacts and we would get leveled up, and I was continuing to rank up in Arena, and then all of a sudden I would just get stuck again, and this happened over and over again throughout this last week of creating my account, especially during the CVC when I was trying to really run Arena as much as I could during the CVC. However, I was struggling, and the biggest problem that I kept on coming up to was speed, which is very, very, general, a problem that we have in Arena. However, I was able to get an apothecary recently, and I have been leveling him up and getting him up there, building him out with speed, and he's great because he's got this increased speed ability, and he also has heals, which I freaking love. But his increased speed helps a ton, especially if I can get him to go first. So I am going to continue to work on building out my Arena team a little bit more, but that did help quite a bit, and I hope that I'm going to be able to accomplish that by the next CVC so that we can continue to do that. Not only did we do Classic Arena, we also went through Tag Team Arena too, though, and we did pretty okay with Tag Team Arena, and I think the reason why is because nobody else wants to deal with it either. I think that's kind of where we're at, is that nobody wants to deal with Tag Team Arena. And the reason why I knew that is because of this. We had a Tag Team Arena tournament going on, and I saw that nobody was, competing in it. And so I was like, bet, I'm going to go do that. And I went through and I actually took first place by like a landslide. If you go into the CVC tournament and you go to objectives, down to arena, you can see right here that you win points for all the gold bars that you get in Tag Team Arena or 3v3 Arena. Now, the amount of gold bars that you receive is based off of what tier you are, right? So I only got 6 per win, and that's per win, like each individual battle, by the way. So you get 6 here, 6 here, 6 here, 6, 12, 18, and then of course you times that by the amount of points, which is 5, and you can see how that adds up over time. Doing Tag Team Arena is actually quite helpful for a CVC tournament, and especially if you can get to the higher tiers, it can do a whole lot of damage as far as points is concerned, or at least a drop in the bucket in the right direction. Another area that I really tried to work on for the CVC to get myself to those 100k points is I upgraded my champions. I was able to get my Kale to a 6-star, my Apothecary to a 5-star. I get that maybe I should have 5-starred like a Tagoar or a Venomage, or there's many different champions that I probably could have done the 5-star for instead of another rare. And in the tavern, what I did is I saved as much as possible, like these 20s and these 30s and these 40s. I saved them as much as possible till I got to the CVC, and then when the CVC started, I just started upgrading these fools up, and then I was able to upgrade my main champions as well. So that was super helpful to get those points in. Okay, another area that I did work on, and I somewhat mentioned this before, but I did farm a little bit of minnow, but the reason why I only farmed a little bit of minnow was because, one, obviously it doesn't give you a whole lot of points in CVC. That said, generally on my main account, I do actually like to run minnow during CVCs, especially the non-PR ones. That's when I get a lot of my minnow runs in, actually. But this one I didn't do as much. And the reason why is because I'm not to stage 15 yet. And I was a little bit worried that I'd be, using so much energy when I could just wait until I have a better team built up and then start getting forward. I did get some masteries here and there, just the ones that I felt like would really make a difference and help out. Like, for instance, again, going back to Apothecary, increases the value of heals this champion casts, and it's right there only on the second tier of his masteries. Okay, next is the Forge. Now, I love the Forge. On my main account, I literally don't touch the Forge until CVC happens, and I was really excited to start pulling these during this CVC on this new free-to-play account because, one, I definitely need these higher tiered items. I had 4 and 5 and 5 and 6 tier for resilience and perception here, but we pulled them during the CVC. I did go through, pull as much of these Forge items as I could, sold the bad items, got some silver out of it, and then, of course, we were able to get some better items down here, which is so great. I just barely unlocked Doom Tower, and I'm still stuck on the freaking 7th floor. Don't you worry, though, I will get it done. But once we get up here, we can start to farm more of these areas and get more materials for the Forge. Also, we can get them from the Faction Wars. That's another area that I've been trying really, really hard to make sure I farm every single key that I have, and also trying to get as far along as I can. It's limited because of how many champions you have when you're first getting started with brand new account, and also the artifacts and the builds that you have. But I try to get as far as I could so that we can start to get, more and better items and materials for the Forge. All right, another resource that I used during the CVC was silver. Some people say that upgrading your artifacts, while it doesn't give you a ton of points for CVC, is still good to do during CVC. Generally, I like to build out my teams during a gear event, like a fusion gear event, or CVC is usually when I wait to do that. But I do want to add something. I actually think that upgrading artifacts during a CVC can give you way more points than most people realize. And I've actually done 2 past videos where I did a CVC challenge, and it was a silver only challenge to see how many points I was able to get. And I was able to get quite a bit, let me tell you. Go back and watch those if you'd like, and they were so much fun. I enjoy doing challenges like that, especially during clan vs clan, because I'm competitive AF. That said, I didn't use all the silver I had. I did save some of it towards the end and started to have it go back up because I noticed that there was going to be a gear event the next day. So I did want to save a little bit so that I can start to get through some of these and get some of the rewards for these as well. The reason why I chose to do that is because, one, this isn't a PR event, a personal rewards CVC, so I didn't get any additional points from that. And 2, we had already reached, our milestone goal to get all of these rewards as a team. So now, of course, there were a ton of other different areas that added to the points, like running Demon Lord and then getting the rewards chest each day during the CVC, finishing up your Faction War crypt, hotkeys. You even get points for spending gems. There's tons of different ways, but thankfully we were able to get over 106,000, which was pretty decent considering it's a brand new account. Is this little red dot bothering you? When I watch other people's videos, I'm like, just get it. Just grab it for me so that I don't look at it anymore. All right, let's do a quick little review of what we need to start saving on right now. As free-to-play players, as brand new account players, we don't have as many resources to work with as players who are later on the game, whether that's mid-game, late game, or end game, and also those players who obviously spend. This is a free-to-play account. So number one, I'm not going to be using any books from now until the CVC. There's no tournament or event that'll go on between now and then that'll give me the amount of points that I feel are worth it for CVC. Is there even a tournament or an event that'll give you points for books for upgrading skills? I don't know, but even if it did, I just know CVC will be better. So we're saving all of the books for CVC. We are going to save all of the forge items, the forge materials. I'm not going to be pulling any more of these, even though I want to, because my account needs better artifacts right now so badly, but we're not going to. We're going to leave all of our forge items alone. We are going to be running up as much arena, tag team arena, and normal arena as possible. One, we're going to get arena so that we can get all of these cute little medals and upgrade our Great Hall. Those are good points. But also our tag team arena, we're going to be running up regularly and as much as possible as well. You know, the more bars we save, the more we can spend. So we can get this extra energy, which I'll probably use during the CVC. I'll grab it next week around Tuesday or Wednesday, and it takes 7 days, 1 week for it to come up again so that I can use it during the next CVC. Another item we're saving is gems. I am going to try my hardest not to use any gems. I'm not going to be buying any masteries with them. I'm not going to be using them for energy unless I absolutely need to. We're going to save up our gems as much as possible because those can be used during the CVC in many different ways that are super helpful for gaining points. So I definitely need to upgrade these champions and their artifacts and get them to a level that can help me progress in the dungeons and in Doom Tower. Oh my gosh, Doom Tower, Faction Wars, everything. There's so many different areas we need to level up. So I will be using silver as I go, but that said, we can always farm more silver and work our way up. So during gear enhancement events, I will be using silver. Most likely, I will definitely be doing it for this one and most likely for the next one too. But other than that, we're going to save silver for the next CVC. Shards, we will not be pulling any shards until the next CVC as well. That's also going to be difficult for me to do. I don't think there's going to be a big event that's going to come up. I was going to say maybe if there's like a really good summon event, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I don't know that there's going to be one that we could really make a difference in with the amount of shards that we have, and I feel like it'll be better put towards CVC. Another resource to be saving for your new free-to-play account is energy refills. We often get them from the shop, like there's usually a daily pack that they give you and an appreciation pack. We usually get the refills like every, 3 days or so. I try to save these as much as possible, or if I'm really trying to get something done in another area of the game, but otherwise I don't touch these brews. These stay in my inbox until CVC starts, and then I just rack up the energy and then, go play and have fun throughout the rest of the game. Other good resources that, again, sometimes we're tempted to use. I am right now definitely tempted to use, like for instance, these potions, ascension potions, because right now potions and ascending these champions can help me quite a bit. Like for instance, if I were to get Alice to her 3rd ascension, then that would unlock this ability for me. And same with Supreme Galek. If I was able to get him to a 3rd star ascension, his is really good too. I want to use this especially for like Ice Golem right now. Like for instance with Supreme Galek, whenever he receives a fear or freeze or a sleep stun, all of these little B-word debuffs that are annoying, what he does with his 3rd ascension is he instantly removes it and completely heals himself, which I think is pretty dang cool. And he gets an extra turn as well. I totally forgot about that. So trust me, I'm tempted to use my potions as well because it can help in many different ways, but I'm going to be saving all of my potions until the CVC starts, and then I'm going to go ahead and ascend everybody as far as I possibly can. Next is the XP brews. And I'm smiling because I have like none. I have a ton of void. We have plenty of void, but we don't have many of the others. We did use quite a bit during the CVC and champion training and getting all of our champions, like 6-star Kale and 5-star Apothecary and level. Anyway, we used that. We don't got many, so we're going to be saving these a whole lot too. That's another great resource to save for CVC. Speaking of leveling up champions, again, like I mentioned, I'm going to continue to save all of these little upgraded food champions. They're going to get num-nummed later on during the next CVC, and I'm just going to save them up. Unless there's like a really good champion training event, so I might use it if there's another champion training, but other than that, I don't feel like I or you should be using them. You should be saving them for CVC because those points do rack up and they're great. Another resource that I think people forget to save sometimes is fusion and fragment summon champions. So sometimes what I do when I'm doing champion training events, or if I'm just running campaign to level up champions and food, I will often put these guys in whenever we get them, and I'll start to level them up so that I can start to get them ready. And then during a CVC or a champion chase event, I will fuse these guys. You can fuse these guys and Broadma like as many times as you want. Sometimes the strategy that I'll use is I'll just slowly build up these little champions that you can use for fusions, and that way you have them ready to go whenever you have a champion chase event. You don't quite have enough points or enough shards to pull. I'll go ahead and fuse these guys if I need to, and I just have those saved in my vault and ready to go so that I can get some extra points. And then same of course with fragment summons. If we have like any of these that we're able to fill up to 100 and get 100 fragments of, we definitely want to save those for the next CVC as well. One resource I don't think as many people think of either is multi-battles. So I try really hard to save my multi-battles and not use them unless it's a CVC. In CVC, we're running up dungeons and campaigns over and over and over again, and those multi-battles go really quickly. And sometimes I get that people are on PC and you're saying, oh, just use RSL helper, but sometimes I like to, like on the go, I'll have raid going on my phone, and if I'm out of multi-battle, that freaking sucks, okay? Especially when there's a CVC going on and I want to get up the points and be a baddie and win. So for this next CVC with the PR, definitely be saving up your multi-battles. Try to use them as little as possible and have them saved up so that we can utilize them then. A couple of key areas to farm, now that we've talked about some resources to save, a couple of key areas to farm is one, faction wars. We kind of talked about this before, but one bad habit that I tend to get into sometimes during your dailies, one of your advanced quests is to use your 12 crypt keys. That's like a consistent one. Now, I've been pretty bad sometimes about, on my main account, not on this account, but on my main account, I sometimes would get pretty bad about going through and using my fraction keys only to like 12, use the 12 that we need to use, and then I just stop there and I don't finish. Even though we have 36, I mean, if you get like one of the extra quest rewards, you can use 24 to 36 different crypt keys, depending on if you get that extra daily quest crypt key reward. And if we don't use them, you're not getting all of these amazing extra rewards that come with them, like the materials for the forge or the different glyphs. We can glyph during the CVC, and using glyphs during the CVC is actually a decent way to gain points too. So bringing this back to what to farm, faction wars. We definitely want to be farming faction wars, but also we want to be progressing in faction wars as much as possible. You see I'm on stage 1 here. That's because, again, brand new account, haven't even started it. I do have a couple of dwarves to work with. They need to be worked on. That's why I haven't run this one yet. But I'm trying to get as far as I possibly can in each of these so that when the CVC starts, I can hopefully farm up as far of a level as possible, because the further you can get in faction war stages, the more points you will receive. Now, I don't know that we're going to get to a stage 21 anytime soon on this free-to-play account, but we're going to get as far as we possibly can, that's for sure. Another area to be farming is Doom Tower. Obviously, I will be doing a crap ton of that once I finally reach it, but I'm not too worried about it. I feel like I'll be able to troubleshoot this little level here and get up here. I am a little bit worried about defeating the first boss on Doom Tower, but once I do get that done, I'm going to farm these silver keys every single day as much as freaking possible so that we can get more forge items from there as well. You also want to be farming any event rewards. Like for instance, I know I said to save a whole lot for CVC, but like for instance, the gear enhancement event, I'm going to go through and try to get as many of these as possible. Even this shard right now will make a huge difference. Even this chicken right here will make a big difference for this account. So gaining all these event rewards can be really helpful for CVC because you get to go and use them during the CVC, if that makes sense. Another thing that I think doesn't sound like something that you would need to do for CVC, but clan quests. Doing these as much as possible is super helpful for CVC because you can go into the clan shop, and they don't always do this, but sometimes there's that extra energy in the shop at the time the CVC starts, and that, I can't even tell you, just having that extra 1,000 energy, as long as you can buy it, as long as you have enough coins to buy it, is super freaking helpful to continue to get along. You can also get the charms, you can get silver, get these items. And it's surprising how much getting some of the clan shop items can actually help with the CVC too. So make sure you do your clan quests as much as possible. I know sometimes they can be a pain. And then of course another area to farm is clan boss, because during the clan boss we do get points for the reward chests that we get. Right now I am 1 king easy and 2 king normal. I'm trying to get up to hard. I've tested the hard, but I can't do it. But we're building out our champions here, so hopefully we'll be able to get as far as we can. The further we can go, the more points we'll get during CVC when we claim these rewards, obviously, but also every single day that you do them, you get more of these resources that we've talked about saving for the CVC, like the potions and the brews and the books. You're gaining a lot of these from Clan Boss to be able to use for CVC. So making sure we get as far as we can, which I know is hard. Some of these areas are really hard as free to play, especially given what champions you have, what artifacts you have, if they're good artifacts, if they're good champions. Some of these are hard. We're gonna get as far as we can with Clan Boss and their stages so that when CVC comes up, we can have a lot of resources that are saved from him, and 2, we'll be able to get those extra bonus points from those reward chests. Okay. Here's what we'll be doing for the next couple of weeks leading up to CVC. You need to start thinking about CVC right now. But for me, what I will be doing in my free-to-play account is I will be getting up Tag Team Arena and Normal Arena as much as possible. As we mentioned, you get way more points in Tag Team Arena the higher tier you are. Obviously, you can't go up too far because it's only 2 weeks away, and you can only go up 1 tier per week. But I plan to being at tier 3, hopefully, bronze tier 3 by the time CVC happens, because then we will be getting 11 gold per battle that we win, and that adds up really quickly. I don't think you realize. So in Tag Team Arena, you get 55 points per battle that you win, and that's each individual battle, like we mentioned, which adds up a whole lot. Like, that's 165 points per single person that you battle, as long as you win all of them. And that's way better than over here, whereas I would get 90 points per battle win. So it's almost double the amount of points just from getting up higher in tier. So we're going to get up in Tag Team Arena. We're going to get to freaking gold in Classic Arena because I'm going to figure out this team and get it going, get it better. I am going to get up as high as possible with the Faction Wars, as I've mentioned. And then another thing I think I'm going to have to do before the next CVCs, I think I'm going to have to switch clans, which makes me feel so bad. I get that this was like just an entry-level clan that I just joined. And I've never talked to any of them, right? But I just feel bad. I don't know what every single time I think about switching clans, I always feel so guilty. I feel bad, but I think I need to do that for the next CVC, especially because it's a PR event and we definitely want to be able to do well and not be carried by Mr. GM Gamer the whole way and then still lose. We might need to switch clans, and that's okay. I've talked a whole lot about my free-to-play account and what we'll be doing to get ready for the next CVC event, but I want to talk about my main account. For my main account, I have a crazy goal in mind for the next CVC PR event, which is to get to 1 million points. Now, this is really dramatic for me because my best CVC tournament max points that I've ever gotten is 704,000. I am going to try and go for 1 million for this next CVC PR event. I will be creating videos around it and what I do and how I prepped, and we will be using our silver as well to see how many points we can get with just silver. At first, of course, we're going to use all the other resources as well, but that's what I'll be doing for the next CVC event PR for the main account is I'll be going for 1 million. Wish me luck. I'm scared, but we're going to make it happen. And then on the brand new baby free-to-play account, the goal is to maybe, I don't know, double. Can we get to 200,000 CVC points? I don't know. We'll see. But thank you so much for watching. These were different ways that you can save up for CVC and why you need to be thinking about it right now, because all of these things that we save up and that we do make a big difference in CVC. It's all about what you use and don't use up until CVC, not necessarily about what happens during CVC. I mean, it does, but it matters more about what you prepped with. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you're starting a brand new account or thinking about it, to click the link below in the description so that you can get a little extra boost to get started with your account, just like I did for this one. And let me tell you, it helped a ton. All right, have an amazing freaking day. Keep killing it, and I'll see ya.